Call to order. Welcome to Aurora's Committee of Adjustment meeting. The time is 7:03 p.m. on Thursday, January 9, 2025. I would like to call this Committee of Adjustment meeting to order. I will start by introducing the committee members and staff. I am the committee chair. My name is David Muhango, and the remaining members are as follows: Jane Stevenson, Vice Chair, Chris Posnelli, Michael Visconti, and Julian Young. The town staff are Peter Fan, the Secretary Treasurer, Antonio Greco, the Senior Planner. Land acknowledgement. The town of Aurora acknowledges that the Anishinaabe lands on which we live and work are the traditional unceded territory of the Chippewas of Georgina Island, as well as many other nations whose presence here continues to this day. As the closest First Nation community to Aurora, we recognize the special relationship the Chippewas have with the lands and waters of this territory. They are the water protectors and environmental stewards of these lands, and as a municipality, we join them in these responsibilities. We further acknowledge that Aurora is part of the treaty lands of the Mississaugas and Chippewas, recognized through Treaty Number 13, as well as the Williams Treaties of 1923. A shared understanding of the rich cultural heritage that has existed for centuries and how our collective past brought us to where we are today will help us work together into a better future. Tonight's meeting will now commence. We'll start with the approval of agenda. Now I require a motion and a seconder from the committee members. Jane is the mover, and Julian is the seconder. All in favor of the motion? Motion carried. Declaration of interests. To the members, are there any declarations of pecuniary interest and general nature thereof? I see heads shaking, so none. Confirmation of past minutes. Require a mover and a seconder. Chris, the mover, and Michael, the seconder. All in favor of the motion? Motion carried. Hearing of applications. This public meeting is being audio and video recorded. It is also being conducted virtually and through the use of Zoom technology. Your name, address, comments, and any other personal information are being recorded according to the Municipal Act and the Municipal Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act. This will help our town clerk prepare accurate minutes and to create a record that is available to the general public, including on the town's website. Questions about this correction should be directed to the town clerk. Please be advised that the reports being considered tonight are available on the Town of Aurora website and through the staff at the town's planning department. Should you wish to receive notification of any of the decisions of tonight's meeting, please complete the appropriate form available through town staff. Applicants and agents will automatically be notified. For each application that will be considered tonight, the following process will occur. I will briefly outline the purpose of the applications, and then the applicant agent will be given the opportunity to make presentation. However, one is not required. It is the applicant's decision whether they wish to speak or let the application proceed on the merits of the information as received. Presentations and deputations are limited to 5 minutes as much as possible. Following any initial comments from the applicant, I will invite members of the public who have interest in the application to come forward and address the committee. Those members of the public who wish to speak must clearly state their name and address and must provide this information to the Secretary Treasurer. Should you wish to obtain a copy of the notice of decision, please complete the appropriate form available through the Secretary Treasurer. Members of the public are reminded that text comments are not permitted during the meeting. and that they will not be noted in any manner or at any time. Each individual may speak only once on an issue, and once the decision has commenced in respect of a motion, no further presentations shall be made. If you require any technical assistance with your presentation, please let me know. If you wish to speak and are currently following the meeting on the YouTube feed, you will need to turn this feed off and join the live meeting, as there is a slight lag between the YouTube and live feed. Please ensure that all questions and all comments are directed through me as the chair. And if relevant, I will request the appropriate person to respond. It should be noted that the applicant will be given the opportunity to respond to any questions or comments should the committee feel that is appropriate. Now we'll start hearing of applications. The first application is a minor variance at 14430 Young Street. The file number is MV-2024-32. The application. Planning staff are requesting a deferral of this minor variance application. Planning staff has indicated that additional time is needed for further review of the proposal and to obtain a peer reviewer to review the submitted natural heritage evaluation in support of the application. The entirety of the subject lands are designated environmental protection and contain woodland and woodlands. Minimum vegetation protection zone, 30 meters in the town official plan schedules. The proposed greenhouse structure is to be located within the wooded area in the rear and would likely result in a mass amount of tree removal. In response to the potential disruption to the natural heritage features on site, the applicant has provided a natural heritage evaluation. The natural heritage evaluation suggests that there are potential species at risk and significant wildlife habitat which can be impacted by the development. The natural heritage evaluation concludes that impacts can be mitigated through some recommended actions, such as further investigation on site features and some other mitigation measures. Staff would require the submitted natural heritage evaluation to be peer reviewed, and site visits must be completed to evaluate the on-site natural heritage feature and to determine the existence of any species at risk or significant habitat. Furthermore, the official plan amendment would likely be required to permit such a structure to be constructed, as the proposed might result in an adverse effect on the natural heritage feature. As a result, staff are requesting the subject application to be deferred for consideration until a qualified peer reviewer has reviewed the submitted natural heritage evaluation. The applicant has been made aware of staff's recommended deferral. So I would like to get a motion from one of the members of the committee. Jane.
I will give you a motion that application MV-2024-32 be deferred.
Okay, thank you. Do you have a seconder for this motion? Chris is the seconder. All in favor of this motion? Motion carried. Thank you. The second application is a minor variance application at the 205 Industrial Parkway North. The file number is MV-2024-33. The application. The owner applicant is requesting relief from the requirements of the town's comprehensive zoning bylaw 6000-17 as amended to facilitate a fitness center use in a building where there are industrial uses or warehouses. The following relief is being requested. Section 10.1 of the zoning bylaw only permits a fitness center in the E1 zone, provided no part of the building where the fitness center is located is used for industrial uses or warehouses. The applicant is proposing a fitness center in a building where there are industrial uses or warehouses. Applicants stated reasons for not complying with the zoning bylaw. As stated on the application form, the zoning bylaw cannot be complied with because there are existing industrial use tenants in the existing building. Existing tenants have clean operations consisting of storing and transporting low hazard stock. The potential tenant is proposing a recreation sports facility use in unit number 1 that would complement similar uses located along Industrial Park North. The operation would contrast the usage of parking space with the other tenants by the time of day, mostly evening and after regular working hours. Public correspondence, there are no supporting letters and also there are no opposing letters. In conclusion, planning staff believe that the requested variance meets the 4 tests of the Planning Act for granting minor variances. Staff recommend approval of the requested variance subject to the condition in the staff report. So do we have an agent or applicant who would like to speak to this application? So if you would let us know your name and address, please.
Thank you. Through the chair, my name is Chris Bertato of C-Space Architecture. I'm the agent and architect for this project. Our address is 8841 George Bolton Parkway, Unit B5 in Caledon. I'm joined by a representative of the owner, Michael McCormick of Ben Walker Limited, and Teresa Tiongson from C-Space Architecture. If I can just
okay, so if they are going to speak, can they also? I know you mentioned one name, but you not the addresses. So if I could have maybe those individuals come up and mention their names and also their addresses in full, if they are going to speak.
Michael?
Sure. Thank you. Mr. Chair, my name is Michael McCormick. I am with Ben Walker Limited, and our head office is at 150 Consumers Road in North York. And we are both the owners and the property managers of the subject property.
Thank you very much, sir. And I believe, Chris, you mentioned another person. Is the other person, the third person, going to speak or not?
I'm not sure. She's with us to assist, Teresa Tiongson, if you'd like.
So if we would have her full name, first name, last name, and address, please. I think you are muted.
Hello?
Hello, can hear you now.
My name is Teresa Tiongson from C-Space Architecture. We are in Bolton, Ontario.
Okay, thank you. So whoever it is want to speak to this application, you can go ahead.
Okay, through the chair, I'll speak, and then I can show a couple of drawings as well briefly at the end.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, the proposed project is to permit a fitness occupancy within the existing industrial building located at 205 Industrial Parkway North. The property as it currently exists consists of 6 units, all of which are low hazard F3 uses, all of which consist of clean, light, and low hazard activity. Units 2 and 4 are parts distribution uses. Unit 3 tenant prepares books for libraries, such as adding covers, tags, etc., and ships them out to various libraries around the province. Unit 5 and 6 is a storage use for specialized packaging. The building owner does not permit tenants that manufacture or handle hazardous materials, so it's a very well taken care of property. Unit 1, which is the subject unit, is the largest unit in the building and is currently vacant. There are potential tenants who are very interested in the space, but none will plan ahead nor commit to the unit without having the approval of a fitness center use from the town of Aurora. So looking around the area, there are several existing fitness center uses that I assume have been granted similar zoning permissions within close proximity along Industrial Parkway North, including the Family Leisure Complex at 135, Aurora Sports Dome at 115, Evolution Gymnastics at 226, and Lambert Wilson Park with several exterior playing fields and dog parks that all make the area very attractive for tenants looking to integrate with and contribute new fitness and recreation possibilities to the area and to Aurora in general. The proposed use will also work to complement the building's other uses and parking resources, as peak times of use are anticipated to be weekday evenings and weekends when the other units are not operational. There are also two separate entrances that are quickly accessible to Unit 1 that can avoid the middle and busiest driving aisle during the day where trucks typically move back and forth. We've read the report. We're very thankful for Aurora Planning's stated support in passing the 4 tests necessary. And we've also read the conditions of approval outlined in Appendix A and accept them. Well, there's one condition. I would like to make a caveat though, point out that we have submitted 2 site plan options for the preliminary zoning review. I noticed the report has 1 with the proposed addition. We would like both site plan options to be covered under this condition. If I can, well, I'll go through it afterwards. 1 site plan shows the building as existing with no exterior changes. That might be the most likely scenario if with the approval of this minor variance. It also has the most parking. The other shows a small addition at the southwest corner that's about 3.6 square meters that is designed to accommodate 1 additional dock door that has already been approved as a site plan amendment. So we would like to have the option of delaying construction of the addition or putting it off should a tenant wish to occupy Unit 1 as is. We'll also welcome any questions you might have. If I may, could I go through a couple of the drawings?
I think
Share my
you
screen?
have no, I think you have gone beyond your time and maybe later on, but let's go ahead. If maybe you can address those through questions. And also just a reminder, here we'll be dealing with the application which is in front of us, the way it is with the drawings which are in front of us. Okay.
Mhm.
That's what we're going to deal with. We're not going to go to look at other options and so on. That's not what we're going to do. Whatever is in this application package we have in front of us, with all the designs we have here, that's what we're looking at, and that's how you're going to make a decision on. Okay. Peter, do we have any public delegates?
Through you, Mr. Chair, we do have a public delegation, Simon Kay. He's with us today in the call.
Okay, so if you could let us know your name, full name, first name, last name, and your address, please.
Yes, Mr. Chair, my name is Simon Kay. I am representative of Evolution Gymnastics. We're at 226 Industrial Parkway North. We were made aware of this application just fairly recently. And basically on behalf of the 3 gymnastics clubs that are currently in the area and competing for business, we are concerned about the designation of part of the building which says it is for gymnastics use, which seems to us not sufficient for a gymnastics club as such. And we are concerned about the intent and usage of that area. I'm not sure if Chris or any of the people associated with the area know in detail whether that designation is for actual gymnastics use or not, but obviously on behalf of the 3 clubs in the area, we would object to any designation specifically for gymnastics, since that is not a generalized recreational activity for general use, which is what fitness facilities are for, but is rather a very specific set use for clubs like ourselves.
Okay, thank you, sir. So Peter, do we have any other delegates?
Through you, Mr. Chair, there are no other public delegations for this application.
Okay, so Chris, the agent, are you able to address the comments from the public delegate?
Through you, Mr. Chair. While we do have some interested tenants and perhaps Michael can speak a little more specifically on this afterwards. We don't have anything specific yet in planned. If you look at the floor plans that we presented, the concept plans, the potential tenants are most interested in court-based activities such as pickleball, baseball training, court-oriented sports, half basketball, badminton. Just something for a large use to a large unit to take advantage within there. So as far as we know, gymnastics has not been approached.
Okay, thank you. So committee members, do you have any questions, comments to the applicant or agent?
No, no comments.
Okay, Michael.
Through you, Mr. Chair. I read the staff report, and I also drove by the property and looked around briefly. There seems to be a lot of parking. The only question I have, I mean, for accessibility, the only question I have for the applicant is, it seems to me like you've got defined areas, pickleball, games area, a fitness center, and then gymnastics. Is it one entity that is going to be running the whole thing, or have you got different type of tenant setup where one tenant is doing the gymnastics, one tenant is doing the pickleball? In other words, is it one company that you're leasing the whole building to? Because it seems to be like a diverse type of setup here, you know, basketball training, gymnastics training, pickleball, which requires, you know, teamwork, you know, various teams. Yeah, my concern is that, you know, in a mixed use type of thing here, you don't have accountability basically to meet the requirements of the bylaw, which requires, you know, some safety precautions, and because you're going into a building where with other warehouse uses. And that's the crux of the application, is you're asking this committee to approve a minor variance on that condition. That's my concern. If you could answer that.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair, this unit will be rented out, leased out to one tenant only. We're showing a variety of uses that could be placed within there, but there will be one owner, one business running everything. And it's anticipated to be court-based, fitness-based, but it's mainly a couple of tenants, one single one that finds the space attractive and, you know, will not kind of pursue things or plan ahead further unless they have planning permission to go with it. But it is intended for one tenant only.
Okay, and then I guess the town staff has taken into account the parking availability for that type of use. Can the staff elaborate on what, you know, they've looked at in terms of parking, in terms of accessibility with all the trucks around and so forth?
Through you, Mr. Chair, the site plan has been reviewed. There is sufficient parking. There's no non-compliance for provided parking on site. Our engineering team did review the application with no concerns for vehicular maneuverability around the site. So the only variance before us tonight is strictly for the use of a fitness center, and no parking deficiencies are outlined for the application.
Okay, thank you for those answers. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Any comments or questions from other members of the committee? Julian.
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair. So this question is more to the town staff, Antonio. Could you help me understand more why the bylaw doesn't allow a fitness center in a building where there are also industrial uses or warehouses?
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chair, the intent of that provision is typically with fitness centers and industrial uses, they're high volume uses that require sufficient parking and specific lot areas to accommodate both uses. So we have a lot of zones that are much smaller than the proposed site before us tonight. So we protect ourselves by not allowing both uses, and we review each application on a site-specific matter to see if both uses can be accommodated, and if they can be accommodated, minor variance would need to be required. We don't want it town-wide where both uses can be permitted and work cohesively.
So a follow-up question to that. Let's say we approve this fitness center now and someone in the future wants to do a warehouse or industrial use for another part of the building. Will that come back to the committee or would that be allowed by the bylaws?
Through you, Mr. Chair, based on the bylaw and how it reads for the permitted uses, it would be permitted as of right if they were to come back with a warehouse.
So would that cause issues then if that would happen, if that were to happen?
Through you, Mr. Chair, when at that time we would review a site plan application if there were any changes to the building, and we could address any concerns or evaluate any concerns. At this point in time, the application was evaluated based on the fitness center being there as of today, and the approval before us today is for the fitness center. If for whatever reason something changes on site, it would have to be reviewed from a functionality standpoint, not so much a committee of adjustment standpoint, but that could be taken care of through the site plan process, given it's an ICI use and not a residential use.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Julian. Any other questions from or comments from other members? I can see Chris shaking. Jane? Okay, my question is just a minor question to town staff. So looking at one of the drawings here, it actually is, that is drawing number A201. You can see different areas with the sort of labels of different activities there. Does the town have sort of a list of what would be considered as the fitness center uses? I can see, like, for example, here there's gymnastics, pickleball and so on. And I know one of the delegate was mentioned something basically against the I think gymnastics, if I heard properly. So can you just elaborate in terms of what would be considered the allowed or allowable activities within the category of fitness center?
Through you, Mr. Chair, yes, we do have a definition in our bylaw for fitness center, which means a premise in which facilities are provided for recreational or athletic activities such as bodybuilding, exercise classes, martial arts classes, gymnastics, and may include associated facilities such as a sauna, pool, or solarium-like facilities. Based on the floor plans provided, gymnastics is specifically labeled in the definition, and all the associated uses that are demonstrated on the floor plan would fall under that fitness center use. So
Okay.
we don't have any objections to what's being proposed interior.
Okay, thank you. That is the only question I have. Just second round, any other questions, comments from the committee members? I can see heads shaking. So in that case, I'll look for a motion or motions. Julian?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I'll move to approve application number NV-2024-33, subject to the condition in the staff report.
Do I have a seconder? I can see Jane.
I'll
Is the
second
seconder?
that motion.
Thank you. All in favor of this motion? Motion carried. Thank you very much, the applicants or agents for being with us tonight, and you have a good night. And
Thank you,
Happy New
Mr.
Year
Chair.
to you.
And Happy New Year to you too. Thank you.
Third and of course last application is a consent application at 7 Lasse Court. The file number is C-2024-06, and it has some related planning applications, numbers OPA-2024-01, ZBA-2024-01, and SP-2024-01. The application. The proposed consent application is to sever the subject lands as follows. A, propose retained lands, which consists of part 1 and the part 2 of the draft plan of severance. That is the northern half. B, propose severed lands, which are part 3 and part 2 of the draft plan of severance, that is the southern half. Parts 1 and 2 will feature a lot area of 3,838 square meters, which is the same as the 0.94 acres, and a lot frontage of 26.5 meters, which is the same as 86.9 feet along Lasse Court. Parts 3 and 4 will feature a lot size of 7,172 square meters, which is the same as 1.77 acres, with 98.5 meters, which is the same as 323 feet of frontage along Wellington Street West. Public correspondence. There are no supporting letters, and also there are no opposing letters. In conclusion, staff are satisfied with the proposed consent application. Also, staff have no objection to approving the consent application subject to the 9 conditions in the staff report. Do we have an agent or applicant who want to speak to this application? So if you would let us know your name, first name, last name, and your address, please.
Good evening, through you, the chair. My name is Ari Kirschenblatt. My address is 20 De Boers Drive, Unit 516, Toronto, Ontario.
So are you the agent or applicant?
I'm the agent.
Okay, thank you. So do you have anything you want to speak to this, like a presentation or something sort, or no?
I could give brief opening remarks. I think that you, the chair, did a great job of outlining it. I think the staff report also outlined the application and the reason for the consent application very well. If you can share or pull up on the screen the severance or the site plan application, this will be handy to review while we're going through it. So my name, as I mentioned before, is Ari Kirschenblatt. I'm speaking here as an agent on behalf of the Church Christ Evangelical Lutheran Church of Aurora regarding the consent application to sever their property at 7 Lasse Court. This application seeks to sever their property into 2 parts, a northern parcel and a southern parcel. The northern parcel, shaded in blue, consists of the church building itself and the associated parking lot. This will be retained by the church within their ownership. And the southern portion, which is currently vacant and consists of a mowed lawn, will be severed to create a new lot that you mentioned is subject to an ongoing rezoning and site plan application that is currently under review by the town and the region. So this consent application is being pursued in connection with that rezoning application, which was filed in 2023 to permit the construction of 29 townhouses on the southern portion only. And the consent application is being brought forward with the support of town planning. The proposed rezoning will integrate with what we're calling Phase 1 lands, which is to the east, municipally known as 200 Wellington Street West, which received approval in principle for rezoning through the Ontario Land Tribunal in 2022. We've been working on this project for a number of years, and we've been working closely with the church, the congregation, the town, the region, and members of the public to create a attractive design and townhouse design and a connection between these two parcels. The access to the southern portion, it's currently landlocked. It will not be able to be accessed through Lacey Court, and so it will require access through our adjacent parcel at 200 Wellington Street West. We're pursuing this because the church wants to unlock the value of the southern portion of their property, which is currently vacant, through the creation of this new lot. The proceeds from the sale of this new lot will support the church's ongoing operational needs to perform some capital expenditures on their building, to hire a full-time pastor, and as well as to support charitable endeavors of the congregation. So as you mentioned, and as this staff report clearly mentioned, the details of this report are fairly straightforward. So I don't have much more to add than that. I only really wanted to introduce myself and to provide a brief overview. And if you have any questions, then I'm here to answer them. Thank you for your consideration.
Okay, thank you. Peter, do we have any public delegates?
Through you, Mr. Chair, there are no public delegations for this application.
Okay, thank you. So the committee members, do you have any questions, comments to the agent on this application? Michael?
Through you, Mr. Chair. I guess this question is more for the town staff. Has there been a review of parking availability or for the church as it carries forward its function in the future? I drove by the property. It seems like there's a limited amount of parking right now. So I don't know what the size of the congregation is or whether it's going to grow in the future or not. And I drove by Lacey Court. It seems like a nice, quiet neighborhood. And then I see that there's been no objection letters, which is good. But would there be any offloaded parking as a requirement for the church that might impact that neighborhood in the future?
For you, Mr. Chair, I can answer that. The parking for the church will remain as is today. Even past the applications, if it were to receive approval, there's no changes to the current parking situation on site. The parking at the church is sufficient for the congregation, and the proposal on the southern lands won't impact the church as they're two separate parcels, self-contained. The parking for the proposed townhouses will all be self-contained on the southern portion of the lot, and the church will continue to maintain their parking on the northern side of the lot.
So there's no issue for future overflow requirements, is that?
Correct. We have.
It will meet the bylaws and zoning requirements, the church on the smaller parcel. Is that correct?
Correct. The lot area for the church meets the bylaw, and the parking meets the bylaws. There's no change to the parking. It will remain. So there's no non-compliance for the church's property.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Any other comments or questions from other members? So I can see Julian shaking head, Jane, Chris. So my question, I have maybe one question. It's ready to access for the severed lands. I can see there's no direct access. There's sort of a hammerhead at the near Wellington there, but access is through the other property what's the timing of the development of the severed lands in relation to the one or the other one, which is shows blocks where you have access. He has got blocks 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah, so through you, Mr. Chair, I believe that question is directed to me. We call it phase 1 and phase 2, but they're really going to be built all at the same time. Obviously, we wouldn't be able to build phase 2 before phase 1 because of the access. And phase 1's only 27 townhouses and phase 2's 29 townhouses. So they will be completed at the same time, most likely. And the timing for it is dependent on how quickly we can move the applications through rezoning approval and as well as site plan approval.
Yeah, okay. Okay, thank you. That's my only question. And just second round, any other comments or questions from members? No. So I'm looking for a motion or motions from the members. Michael.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I move to approve application here. Sutton Lacey Court, MV or file C-2024-06, along with all the conditions as proposed by the town.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a seconder for that motion? Julian? So Julian is the seconder for that motion. All in favor of this motion? Motion carried. So thank you very much, Ari. Your application has been approved. And I wish you a happy new year.
To you too. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, so next on the agenda is new business or unfinished business. I have one myself. This is basically related to the fact that myself, I will not continue to be on this committee, and I know some other members will also not be on this committee, and maybe some will continue. We're not sure officially. So on my own behalf, on behalf of the members of the current members, I really wish to thank all the members for your dedication, for your good work, your volunteering work, which you have been doing for the past 2 years. I'm really proud of you. You have done a good job. You spend your time, valuable time, reading all these reports and so on, and coming here, reserving some time for this time from 7 o'clock to whatever it is. I know one time went up to around 12 midnight. I cannot take that for granted. So I really appreciate your dedication and the commitment to contribute to the community. And I cannot thank you more. And also I want to thank the town staff, the Secretary Treasurer Peter, and also planning staff, Antonio Greco and others who were there before. I wish to thank them for their dedication, for their support, guiding us every time we have these meetings, and because they know better than us in terms of the Planning Act and the House and Dams to deal with the issues in terms of the process, the procedure. So we also thank you very much for your support and being with us. And I wish everybody a happy new year. So those are my comments, and that's the business item I have. So open to others, maybe it will be similar comments about the being on committee of adjustment, and maybe they will no longer be here, whatever other business you have, but that's my business. So thank you very much. So do we have any other business, Peter and Antonio?
To you, Mr. Chair, just wanted to thank committee for their hard work and for their expertise over this past over my past time this past year. So I appreciate your time, your efforts, and your diligence when reviewing all these applications. So thank you all for all your great work.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chair, I just want to echo what Antonio has just mentioned, and thank you for all the wonderful conversations and insights that you guys have brought to the Committee of Adjustments, where nobody else could have. Yeah, thank you for all your hard work.
Thank you very much, Peter. So looking for a motion for adjustment for this meeting. Adjournment, sorry, not adjustment. Adjournment of this meeting. Okay, so I can see Jane there. So this meeting be adjourned. Thank you very much, everybody, and have a good night and Happy New Year to you and your families.